In this video, we're going to be solving fraction word problems that utilize multiplication and division. Whenever we look at word problems, it's always good to take a look at what the question is asking. And it's saying, what is the area of a window? Now, a window tends to be rectangular, so we know that a window is going to be a multiplication of the width times the length. And if we read the word problem, it says we have a small rectangular window that measures 2/3 feet by 3/4 feet. So we'd have 3/4 and 2/3. And to figure out the area of an object is the multiplication of that side times that side. Being multiplication, we're going to multiply these two fractions. And so we can set it up like this to help multiply. And whenever we multiply fractions, we always multiply straight across. So we're going to multiply the two numerators, being these two numbers at the top. And we can do that first. So 3 times 2 would be equal to 6. And then we always multiply across for the bottom two numbers, which are denominators. So we would multiply 3 times 4, which would be equal to 12. Now, once we have this answer, we actually need to simplify it out, meaning that we can factor out or divide top and bottom by a number. Now, this is also called the greatest common factor. And so we want to figure out a number that's similar to 6 and 2. What can we divide both these numbers by? Well, we can divide both of these numbers by 2. We could also divide both of these numbers by 3. 6 divided by 3 would give us 2. 12 divided by 3 would give us 4. Could we do 4? No, we can't do 4 to that. Can we do 5 to that? No. But we could also do 6, right? 6 divided by 6. Can we do 6 with this one as well? And we can. So we can divide top and bottom numbers by the same thing to factor out and simplify this fraction. So we know that 6 divided by 6 would give us 1. 12 divided by 6 would give us 2. And this would be our final answer. So for this one, let's take a look at the question again. It says, how many liters are in one serving? So we need a little bit more context. It says we have a juice bottle that is 3/5 liters, and a serving is 2/5 of that bottle. Well, we have this. We're going to multiply those two numbers together. So 3/5 times 2/5. So when we multiply, again, we always multiply straight across. So 3 times 2 is going to be equal to 6. Multiplying down below is we're going to have 5 times 5, which will be 25. Now, we always want to see if we can figure out a way to simplify this out. So we would have 6 and 25. Can we factor any numbers? Well, we know that the number 6 that can be factored out is 2, 3, and 6, meaning these are numbers that are divisible by 6. If we take a look at 25, this is going to be 5 and 25. Since there's no numbers that they share in common, it means that this cannot be simplified, and that our answer would be 6/25. Now for this question, it's asking how much sugar will be used. And if we read the question, it says a recipe calls for 3/2 cups of sugar for one batch. Sarah wants to make half of a batch. So for us to figure that out, we're going to be multiplying these two numbers, 2/3 times 1/2. Now again, we always multiply straight across for both the numerator and the denominator. So we'll have 2 times 1 at top, which is equal to 2, over 3 times 2 at the bottom, which is equal to 6. Then we'll test to see if there is a greatest common factor. So we'll have 2, which can be divisible by 2, and 6, which could be divisible by 2, 3, and 6. Well, they both share 2. So that means that we can divide top and bottom by 2 to simplify our answer. 2 divided by 2 will be equal to 1. 6 divided by 2 will be equal to 3. And that would be our final answer. For this question, it's asking how many yards of ribbon does Liam use? So it says that he has 6 yards of ribbon in total, and he uses 2/3 of each yard to make bows. This again will be multiplications, so 6 times 2/3. Now when we have a whole number and nothing on the bottom, we always can put a 1 here. because this would be equivalent to saying 1 is divisible by 6, which would be equal to 6. It gives us the same number in return. It's another way of saying 6. So once we have that, we can again multiply straight across. So we're going to get 2 times 6, which is equal to 12, over 1 times 3, which is equal to 3. And we could also divide this where we'll have 3 divided by 12 like this. And we know that if we were to divide that, this answer would be 4, right? 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So if you subtract that, you'll get 0. So our answer for this equation, for this question, is he uses 4 yards. Now this question is asking how many miles does Ella bike in total? Well, it seems like each day she bikes 1 2/3 of a mile. And what we're going to do is we're going to multiply those values. But we have this 1 over 2/3. We have to turn this into an improper fraction. And an improper fraction means that we got to take this whole number that's right here and put it in our numerator. So what we do to convert that, so we can take that 1 and we multiply it by our denominator on both top and bottom. And if we do that, we get 3 over 3. And we know that 3 divided by 3 would be 1, meaning that it is the same number or an equivalent number as a fraction. And then what we'll do is we're going to add this other part of the fraction, which is 2 over 3. That's going to simplify to 5 over 3. Now that we've converted this number into an improper fraction, meaning it doesn't have any whole number out in front, we then can multiply it by 6 for our 6 days of writing. We put a number 1 at the bottom. We multiply straight across. So 5 times 6 would give us 30 over 3 times 1, which will give us 3. And again, we can simplify this. And if we do this by division, there are 4 steps we do. We divide 3 by 3, which would go into it 1 time. Then we multiply that second step. 1 times 3 is 3. Then we subtract, which would be 0. And then we bring down the next value to the right, which would be 0. 0 divided by 3 would be 0. 0 times 3 is 0. We don't have a remainder, so our answer would be 10. For this example, it's asking how many cups can be filled. And then we have a 2-liter bottle of lemonade is poured into cups that each hold 1/2 of a liter. So for this problem, we're going to be dividing. We have 2 divided by 1/2. Now, when we have a division symbol, we actually can't use this until we change it to a multiplication. So to be able to change it to multiplication, we take the second number in here and we flip the 2 numbers, meaning that we put the denominator on top and we put the numerator on bottom. So it changes to 2 over 1. Now we could also put a 1 underneath this, and if we multiply straight across, we're going to get 4 over 1. And if we were to divide this, we know that it would go in 4 times, so this just means that we have an answer of 4. For this problem, it says that Liam has 4 pounds of granola, and we're looking to figure out how many containers can he fill, because each container can hold 2 over 3 pounds. So this is going to be division, so we have 4 divided by 2 over 3. We have to change this to multiplication, so we keep that first number the same. We change this to a multiplication sign, and then we flip or we rotate our 2 numbers in our fraction. So the 3 will now be on top and the 2 will be on bottom. Since we have a whole number, we can put a 1 underneath it, and then we'll multiply these 2 values straight across. 4 times 3 is going to be equal to 12, and then we have 1 times 2, which is equal to 2. Now we can simplify this by dividing it. So how many times does 2 go into 12? That's going to be 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12, so if we subtract, we'll get 0. So our answer would be 6. For this example, we're trying to figure out how many pancakes you can make. So you have a recipe that says you need a 3/4 cup of batter per pancake, and you have 6 cups of batter. This word per always can help you figure out that it's going to be, for the most part, division. So we have 6 cups of batter, and we're going to divide it by 3 over 4 cups per pancake. Again, we need to change this to multiplication. So we drop down our 6. That always stays the same, but we're going to have to flip the fraction. So we'll put 4 at the top and 3 at the bottom. We can add a 1 over the whole number of 6 and multiply straight across. This is going to give us 4 times 6, which is equal to 24. And then we have 1 times 3, which is equal to 3. If we were to divide this, we know that 3 would go into 24 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24, so we would subtract. We have 0. So our answer would be 8.